in the journey from where they were supposed to be to getting over to YouTube.
Yeah, fair enough then. Well, I'm not going to do the YouTube thing. If it's okay with you, I just want to respect everyone's time. And but just to let you know, I am recording this. So if you would prefer to close your cameras off for whatever reason, by all means do so. But if you're comfortable being recorded, then please feel free. And if you've got any questions, by the way, so this is not intended to be a lecture, because we've all had loads of those. But if you've got any questions, then fire them through. Leon, be careful with me. Leon is a fantastic sales trainer in his own right, and Mr. Cold Calling, if I remember correctly. So we're gonna figure this out. So if it's okay with you, I'm just gonna just kind of press on, if that's okay. So yeah, let's go. Right. So I'm not going to ask you because I know both John and I know Leon pretty well. So I'm just going to press on. But in terms of 36, unfortunately, is not my age. It's how long I've been in sales. Does that mean I know everything? Of course not. And in any event, I think Leon, give us a nod. It's all changed since the pandemic anyway. So and it's I think it has for the most part. It's a different way of communicating. Having said that, when I started in sales back in 1988, the name of the game was getting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And here in 2024, post-pandemic, the game is still getting the right message to the right person at the right time. So the game hasn't changed. The method, of course, that we get the message there has changed, and the go-to-market channels that we employ are a dizzying array of them, and sometimes not even that gets there. So, excuse me. So what we're going to cover today, how to deliver a crystal clear sales message so there's no confusion. That's ideally what we want to deliver. I've got a value proposition equation. You don't need to be too mathematical to think about this, but I think there are some component parts that add up to how to deliver a really crystal clear and impactful message so that the other side says, that's really interesting, let's meet. That's because that's the outcome, what we're looking for. What to include in your pitch, what to exclude in your pitch, and how to close it off. Otherwise, it ends up just being tea and biscuits, and nobody's a winner. Okay, so I want to also reference. Everyone's got lots of quotes that they kind of live and die by, but this guy's not even a salesperson. He was one of the great management thinkers in an era where it was management thinking, leadership was an emerging subject. And he said this: nothing happens until somebody sells something. Nothing. And I good to see you nodding your head. I firmly believe that. We're always thinking that whatever we do is the most important job in the company, but there are very few that would argue their role is more important than sales. So what happens next? The value proposition equation is the component parts, the sum of the component parts. Let's have a look at what they are. So the value proposition is your offer. Your offer, and feel free to come off of mute if you want to engage in this, John and Leon, but your offer is simply what you sell. It is, so for instance, if it's LinkedIn lead generation, sales training, let's let a couple of people in. If what you do is selling telecoms or selling lead generation or whatever it happens to be, that is simply what you do. That's simply your offer. What's next? What you really want are benefits how does what you sell, how does that help your customer? Because they're not talking to you about LinkedIn lead generation or sales training. They want an outcome of some kind as a result of engaging your product or service. And so it's how do you transform your customers' lives? This is sales 101, sales basics. I know that, but it's really important to understand in the context of things. Case studies. Case studies, and I don't know, I know, John, you would probably argue that you've got 500,000 case studies, or and I'm sure that's right. But case studies are incredibly important for context. There's back when I closed a pretty big deal with a telco firm, there would have been no point about me holding a case study up to them for a small retail company because there was no context there. I've got to, ideally, in an ideal world, case studies need to look like, feel like the company that you're trying to engage or sell with, so they can relate to it and say, well, if they can do it for them, if John can do it for them, if Leon can do it for them, good chance they can do it for me as well. So case studies, and then your target market, or ideal customer profile, as it's often called these days. Who are you trying to sell to? Who's your ideal market that you're trying to address? Again, sales 101, incredibly, but back to basics. Sales execution is about mastering, about executing the basics really well, really consistently. If you want to argue with that, by all means, but I think it's pretty clear. And then a clear call to action. What do you want them to do as a result of your pitch, as a result of your phone call, whatever it happens to be? And again, this is about telling your story. Let's just let. Okay, so I want to give you now. Most people will know this sketch. If you've seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street, I don't sell this way, but in 1988. I can absolutely assure you that that was the culture that I was introduced to. My first ever training course was called the 3 F's of selling. Phone them up, fit them up, and you can imagine what the third one was. But that was literally what people thought about sales at the time, and I hope 99% of us have moved away from that style of selling, although there are companies in the headlines almost every day, it seems, that have a sales culture that still takes advantage or exploits their customers in an unsavory manner. Okay, so I want to how does that come to life in real life? So we could sit and theorize all the time, but I just think there's a great way to bring this to life in a really meaningful manner. And we're just going to wait for this to get out the way, and then I'll go straight to the meat and potatoes of what I think this is. There we go. Right. So I teed that up beforehand, but still, you probably know this sketch. Leon, you've probably seen this once or twice already, right? John, I don't know if you know this one at all, but so what I'm going to do is you can watch this and it's entertaining, or you can analyze it, and there's some real gold in this, and that's the meat and potatoes of what. So I just want to spend a few minutes. I'm going to play the pitch itself all the way through because it's about 62 seconds, I think it is. And then I'm going to play it back and break it down, okay?
Hello, John. How you doing today?
Oh, 1 second.
I mailed in my company a postcard a few weeks.
Can you actually hear that? Or do I need to?
Yeah, I can't hear it, but we can't see it if it's a visual as well.
Do you think it'd be easier if I share?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry about that. Okay. Right. Okay. So, and then we'll go shit a computer sound as well. You don't have to be an expert in this, but if you are, it really helps. Okay. Right. So, can you see something on the screen now? Yes, excellent. Right, I'm going to play it all the way through. Here we go.
Back requesting information on penny stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Does that ring a bell?
You can hear that?
Great. The reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. You got a minute? Name of the company, Aerotine International. It is a cutting-edge, high-tech firm out of the Midwest awaiting imminent patent approval on a next generation of radar detectors that have both huge military and civilian applications. Now, right now, John, the stock trades over the counter at 10 cents a share. And by the way, John, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000.
Jesus, that's my mortgage, man.
Exactly, you could pay off your mortgage.
This stock will pay off my house.
John, one thing I can promise you, even in this market, is that I never ask my clients to judge me on my winners. I ask them to judge me on my losers because I have so few. And in the case of Aerotine, based on every technical factor out there, John, we are looking at a grand slam home run.
Okay, let's do it. I'll do $4,000.
4,000, that'd be 40,000 shares, John. Let me lock in that trade right now and get back to you with my secretary with an exact confirmation. Sound good, John?
Sounds good.
Great. Hey, John, thank you for your vote of confidence, and welcome to the Investors Center.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, so fantastic. So that is the art of making a great phone call. And now,
And I
clearly,
hope it happens.
just one second. Clearly, none of us are Leo DiCaprio, but actually, there are some people that are that good on. You don't have to be Leo DiCaprio. You just got to be you. You just got to be authentic. Because people that have been around the block for any amount of time can sense in authenticity. They can just kind of sense in sincerity. So let's have a look. Let's break that down. And again, I'm going to do this really quickly, but let's kind of see what's actually happening in real life, and let's see how you might be able to fit that in your world with you do. Let's just let someone, there we go. Okay, so
Hello, John. How you doing today? You mailed in my company a postcard a few weeks back requesting information on penny stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yeah, I may have said something.
okay, what just happened then? I'm not going to wait. I'm going to just jump in then. That was nothing to do with the phone call itself. That was simply what we in communications call enveloping. In the world of technology, even modems and computers, when they talk to each other, they send what's called a marker signal. And the marker signal, and in human terms, we talk about the weather sometimes. How's the weather? Isn't it great? Whatever it happens to be. You're not really talking about the weather. You're simply setting up the conversation. Are you ready to receive information? Yes, I'm ready. Because almost certainly the person at the other end of the phone is not taking any notice, is not really absorbing those words. So if he says something that's too important at the very beginning of the call, it's not going to be understood anyway. So he's waiting, he's setting the call up, he's getting their attention. And in social media, isn't that what we're all after? We want their attention. So he's getting the prospect's attention and he's waiting for a response. And you can just about hit here. Someone said yes. Okay, so that means we're ready to receive information.
Okay, great. Well, reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. You got a minute?
Okay, so what happened there? What happened there was, again, setting the call up, building intrigue. That's a very human, almost a caveman instinct now, that if we give all the information up front, they won't keep listening and they'll make a decision far too early in the buying process. So building intrigue and kind of building an expectation there as well. So that's what he's doing. He's setting up the phone call. So we've established you're ready to receive information. Now we're building on that and we're getting ready to give some really important information. Okay.
Name of the company, Aerotine International. It is a cutting-edge, high-tech firm out of the Midwest, awaiting imminent patent approval on a next generation of radar detectors that have both huge military and civilian applications.
Okay. There was a lot to take in there, and we have to think really carefully about that. So, ordinarily, I would advise people not, there was a lot of jargon in there, and I would advise my clients certainly not to use jargon. You have to use language that's going to be easily understood by the other side. You've got to talk to them in their language, not in your language. And this happens with technology salespeople all the time, that they'll talk about speeds and feeds. They'll talk about graphene. They'll talk about semiconductors. And there's probably a context in which it's right and proper to have those conversations, depending on who you're talking to. But if you're selling technology, and that's simply, again, your offer, that's not the benefits. Nobody buys technology, I beg your pardon, for technology's sake, apart from the latest iPhone. I would argue that's probably an exception. They sell technology because of what it helps you do, the benefits that your particular technology delivers. So there we go. Let's just let someone in. So the point of this is, it's probably okay if someone's playing in the financial markets, in the capital markets, buying stocks, shares, all that kind of thing, then it's probably okay to talk to them about cutting edge, talk about stocks and all of that kind of thing, because that's appropriate for the audience. And so it's okay to use that language. That's kind of my point. So again, set the conversation up, and this is simply his offer. That's simply what he does. It's the opportunity to buy shares. But the opportunity to buy shares isn't really what the call is all about. The call is all about the benefits that buying those shares is going to potentially bring, the prospect, the benefits, not actually what he's selling. Right
Right now, John, the stock trades over the counter at 10 cents a share. And by the way, John, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000.
Okay, so let's have a think about what happened there. Again, we're going back to, we previously positioned his offer, and he has talked about buying and selling of shares. That in itself is not why people will do business with this particular brokerage. He then got to the benefits of your profit on doing this deal. It could be $60,000. So the benefits are the money that could be made out of that share transaction, not the actual share transaction itself, but what the benefits of the share transaction would be. And that's why it's really important to focus on benefits. There we go. So what happens next?
Jesus, that's my mortgage, man.
Exactly, you could pay off your mortgage.
This stock will pay off my house.
John, one thing I can promise you, even in this market, is that I never ask my clients to judge me on my winners. I ask them to judge me on my losers because I have so few.
Okay, so do you remember we said value proposition is offer, benefits, and then we talked about case studies. Case studies and being able to hold up a mirror to say that if they can do it for them, they should be able to do it for me as well. So Leo DiCaprio in this particular segment of the call is saying exactly, don't judge me on my winners, judge me on my losers, because I have so few. Now that's a little bit cheesy, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using that kind of language, but there is something else going on there. I normally talk about sales in terms of only two kind of benefits that you can deliver, and that's increase sales or decrease costs. You can't do anything else. Everything else is a subset. Are you helping your customers increase sales, or are you helping them decrease costs? And making money, making more money, I would argue comes under the realm of increasing sales. So that's what Leo's helping the person at the other end of the phone, his prospect, in other words. That's what he's helping them do. Okay, so let's have a look, see what happens next.
And in the case of Aerotyne, based on every technical factor out there, John, we are looking at a grand slam home run.
Okay, let's do it. I'll do $4,000.
4,000, that'd be 40,000 shares, John.
Okay, so what just happened there? He was sealing the deal. He was talking about, based on every technical factor out there, this is looking to explode. So I would argue that that talks about risk management, because it's all very well the chances of a share going up in price, but then you get into the realms of, well, what's the probability? What are the chances of it actually increasing? So what he's saying is all the indicators are that it's going to go up in price. And we've already talked about the case studies previously where he's managing risk. So you're not going to lose any money, but it could go an awful lot higher as well. Did something else at the very end of that as well. Did you notice there was a gap between Leo DiCaprio speaking and the other person answering, the person at the other end of the phone answering, and that's the power of silence. So Leo DiCaprio, his character, stopped talking and waited for the other person to speak, and that can be a really scary place to be. Silence can be, if you know what you're doing, then in communication, the use of silence can be incredibly powerful in terms of gaining control of the conversation, gaining the outcome that you're looking for from a conversation, gaining the decision that you're looking for from your prospect. If you're on the receiving end of that communication, it can be truly terrifying as well, because you can be, wow, what's going on here? It's silent. Surely somebody should be talking. No, if you're to become an expert in communication, you need to know how to handle that. Okay, so we're in the last couple of minutes, and I don't want to keep you any longer than that. So let's finish this off.
Let me lock in that trade right now and get back to you with my secretary with an exact confirmation. Sound good, John? Great. Hey, John, thank you for your vote of confidence, and welcome to the Investors Center.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Bye-bye.
Cool. I've cut it short there because there's some swearing that happens immediately after. Leon, you've how did you do that? Okay, well we're showing you how to do that. So he does something which I think is really important there, which is he confirms the sale. Okay, so you bought this, so there's no doubt, and he also says thank you. And I don't know how often I've bought stuff before and not been thanked for my business. I think it's such a small thing to do. It costs nothing, but actually it really buys goodwill. And I think we should all do a little bit more of that. Okay, right. So I'm not going to go through that, but if you want slides afterwards, if that would help, especially since you didn't see the first half a dozen, because I forgot to press share screen. But anyway, listen. So this particular sort of sketch isn't on camera, but I have got an introduction to sales pre-recording. It's 8 4-minute mini lectures, if you like, just bite-sized learning that if you or anyone in your sales teams are looking to get into sales, and you really want to get them lined up with all the basics, frankly, everything that I wish I'd known when I was 25 and first got involved in sales, then I would strongly encourage you. I think this is, I'm really proud of this. So that's the QR code on the screen. Now, I'm going to be doing something similar next week, or on go-to-market strategy. So now we've got a value proposition, and so what do we do with that value proposition? We've got to take it to market somehow. So I'm going to be talking about go-to-market next Thursday at 12 o'clock. I will, if you've registered in advance, you'll automatically get an invite to that, completely free. I want to, but I would be really grateful for some feedback other than shared screen, because I've already got that message. This is a new series of content that I'm running. So if you've got any feedback, positive, constructive, whatever you want to do, I'm over 18, so I can take it. Be really grateful for a bit of feedback. Let me come off of share, but otherwise I'll send you the invite for that next week. In the meantime, if you've got any questions, by all means chuck them in the chat just now, or DM me if we're not already connected on LinkedIn. But otherwise, thank you for joining us for this this event, and thanks for your time and attention. Enjoy the rest of your lunch hour, and I'll look forward to seeing you really, really soon. Thanks, Leon. Certainly thanks, John. Take care. All the best.